Out of the blue corner, wearing green, trimmed with white, official weight, 135 pounds. Professional record, 34 victories, including 25 knockouts, only 3 defeats. From Coachella, California, the reigning and defending IBF lightweight champion of the world, Julio the Kidd Diaz. And fighting out of the red corner, wearing blue, official weight also 135 pounds. A perfect professional record consisting of 32 bouts, 32 victories, including 16 knockouts. From Houston, Texas, the reigning and defending undefeated WBA, WBO lightweight champion of the world, Juan the Baby Bull Diaz.
We're ready here.
You got your hands full tonight.
We got it.
But they're in good hands, though. They're in good hands.
Yo, Juan, Julio. Okay, gentlemen, listen up. You got your instructions in the dressing room, all right? I want you to obey my commands at all times, protect yourself at all times. Now, touch him up. Come out fighting.
In my fantasy, we'd have the 3 Diazes fighting for the 4 belts in a round robin. But 2 Diazes promise just about all the brawling that we could stand.
Juan Diaz and Julio Diaz set for tonight's main event. Lennox, what should we be looking for early in this fight?
Well, you know, I'm going to look at Juan Diaz is definitely going to come after the other Diaz and really test his heart. But I know Julio's prepared to move around and use his jab.
Juan Diaz in the blue, Julio Diaz in the green. Juan Diaz likes to keep a very busy pace.
Usually that's a pace that other fighters are so unused to that it becomes a tremendous disadvantage for them. But in the early rounds, especially, Juan Diaz can be vulnerable.
Right hand over the top by Juan Diaz. Lennox, we talked extensively with Julio Diaz about his boxing ability. He feels comfortable going backward.
And that's what he's doing. He did say that that's what he's going to do in this fight, and he's doing it. And he's not getting hit with any silly punches right now, only when he stands still. But, you know, the kind of pressure Juan gives you, he makes you want to stop and fight him. So that's why I believe there's going to be a lot of fireworks, a lot of punches thrown in this fight.
Juan Diaz in the blue told us that, you know, he's been working on his technique more, but as the fight wears on, his inner Mexican kicks in.
And that's what happens to some young boxers. They don't have a little discipline, and he's working on the discipline of taking his time and using some poison there. Good combination by Juan, and pick his shots.
He is unusual for a pressure fighter in the sense that he is not a power puncher. Most pressure fighters, to be successful, have to put hurt on their opponents immediately. He is a quick-handed puncher who tries to break you down through attrition.
Well, we saw him during the Pacquiao-Barrera rebroadcast as he was warming up, swinging a baseball bat. And he's one of those doubles hitters. He's not a home run hitter.
See, already Diaz is doing more fighting than he anticipated he would have to.
Julio Diaz in the green.
Did I say just Diaz?
Larry, you could just say Juan and Julio.
I usually don't like to be that familiar with the fighters on the air, but we may be forced to here. A little abrasion alongside the right eye of Julio Diaz. But he's holding his own in this round. A good, brisk, tough round.
There's the bell to end round number 1. Good pace in the first round.
Listen, Juan. Listen. I need more jabs, okay? You're walking in. Water. I need more jabs, okay? You're walking in. Okay? Now, your head moves good. Got good right hand. Now, I need more.
Abro para las cuerdas, ¿eh? Y nomás estás usando como cuando él le hace pa, 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 pa.
Well, he
Y
goes
luego
back,
usted,
back, back.
¿ok? Y luego usted sígale,
back,
¿ok?
then hit
Come
him.
on. No está usando ese paso para atrás. No
You're
te
not
estás
using
moviendo
that
tampoco.
one step back.
Te estás quedando como...
You're
dijimos
staying
que no
there.
fue un round, pero no estás apuchando. Tiene que quedar y vamos, cabrón.
And here we see a good combination by Juan Diaz. Good array of punches.
Let's go.
3 of them hitting Julio.
Julio says that other fighters have panicked against Diaz, and there's some truth to that. And that he believes he won't because of his experience.
You heard his trainer, Lee Espinosa, in his corner, caution him about the fact that you're standing there and you're fighting with it. You're fighting his game plan. Take that step back. Don't just stand there. But Juan Diaz seems to bring all of his opponents into his comfort level.
Well, you know, his trainer told him the right thing to do, because what happens when Juan throws a combination, he accepts it, but he doesn't fire back, and his trainer was telling him to fire back.
And another result of quick hands like this is that the opponent of Juan Diaz becomes a little bit reluctant to punch sometimes because he doesn't know what's coming back at him.
Lennox, is Julio making a mistake here, standing in the wheelhouse of Juan Diaz?
Well, he feels that he can out-punch him and out-box him right now, but I think that's the wrong move. He should be using his reach, because he seems like he has longer arms and better movement. So he needs to give Juan Diaz some different angles and capitalize off of them.
Good uppercut.
See, standing in front of Juan Diaz is a mistake, because you know you're standing in front of what I call a good puncher, and any one of those shots can hurt you or cut you. So you don't want to take that type of chance.
Julio Diaz in the green, not using the movement that he said he would.
Well, now he's trying to muscle Juan Diaz, because he's the bigger guy, and he thinks it would be to his advantage if he can push him back, but he's going to pay a price for that.
Does switch southpaw, something Julio said he likes to do during the course of a fight.
And Julio's trying something that he's seen work on other boxers. You know, guys that give you that pressure, if you push them back, then they can't stop going backwards. But, you know, you're right, Larry, it's a big sacrifice to do that.
Most of those punches there missing from Juan Diaz. Slaps a left to the head. Nice combination by Juan Diaz. He responds to Julio Diaz.
Julio Diaz is saying he's not taking a step back. He wants to punch it out.
Great action through the first 2 rounds.
Vinimos a boxear también poquito. Tienes que boxear.
We're here to box. We're here to box. You know how to move. Remember, you're staying in there. You have to be moving around. Don't stay close.
On November the 3rd, it's a terrific matchup of undefeated 168-pound champions Joe Calzaghe and Miguel Kessler. Calzaghe versus Kessler live from Cardiff, Wales at a special time, 9 p.m. Eastern. Then 1 week later, 147-pound champion Miguel Cotto puts his title on the line against Sugar Shane Mosley. Part of a fantastic fall here on HBO.
Juan Diaz has been celebrated because he is a college student, a senior at University of Houston downtown. He wants to go on to law school. Worked as a lobbyist in Washington this past summer. None of that will help him in the ring, but he seems to do all right.
And Julio Diaz in the green, who was married at the age of 18, is the father of 3, has his own construction company, and is also getting involved in some boxing promotion of his own, Kidd Diaz Boxing Promotions. 2 very nice young men.
Incidentally, Juan is doing a good job with the pressure, but he needs to throw more jabs before he comes in.
Having tested his strength against Juan Diaz in the last round, Julio is now finding what's in his best comfort zone, which is to stand back, box, punch him, not to try to bully him. You can't bully the bull.
And Larry, that's no bull.
He is just relentless.
Some of that blocked by Julio Diaz, not all of it. Juan Diaz rips a combination to the head of Julio Diaz.
No, Julio Diaz was doing a good job boxing, but now he's elected to come in, still trying to push back Juan, still not working.
Well, maybe he's decided he can take these punches. They aren't damaging punches. They're just cumulative punches. And so that he feels that maybe he has to do that.
Doesn't it just play into the whole Juan Diaz strategy, though?
Well, it does, but he makes you play into it. He determines what the pace of the fight is.
And Julio said this is the fight that he wanted. He wanted Juan Diaz, and he's been calling for him for a while, and he's got what he wanted.
Well, they're 2 young fighters fighting like the whole future is in front of them. Not like old guys whose future is in the past.
End of the 3rd. Mentioned Juan Diaz would like to become a lawyer. Will graduate with a political science degree next year from the University of Houston downtown. A couple of years ago, Larry, before the Fernando Vargas-Felix Trinidad fight in Nevada, Juan was fighting on a card in Las Vegas the night before, and 3 of his high school teachers from the Contemporary Learning Center, on their own dime, flew out to see Juan Diaz perform. He was so moved by that on his own dime, he has flown those 3 teachers here just outside of Chicago to see him fight in a world title fight. Craig McDaniel, the woodshop teacher, Jack Powell, the computer science teacher.